you ever heard of the extremely advanced supersonic bomber that the United States had to downgrade? While supersonic weapons are known for their extreme speed and precision, the United States embarked on the development of one that surpassed the expectations of many. This bomber, a symbol of the limitless advancements in technology, is a highly versatile multi-mission weapon system with unparalleled capabilities. What is this supersonic weapon? Why did the United States government downgrade it? Join us as we dive into the advanced world of the bomber that the U.S. government had to downgrade. Supersonic fighter jets and bombers have become an important part of modern warfare, and the need for this advanced technology is what led to the development of the B-1 Lancer. But if these supersonic weapons are so important, why was the B-1 Lancer downgraded? Let's get into it. The Rockwell B-1 Lancer, also known as Bone, is an extremely fast bomber aircraft that is used by the United States Air Force. It is one of three big bombers that is being used by the Air Force, along with the B-2 Spirit and the B-52 Stratofortress. As of 2024, the Bone is capable of carrying the heaviest load of bombs compared to any other bomber in the U.S. military, weighing 75,000 pounds. This bomber was designed to fly as fast as the B-58 Hustler and also carry as much as the B-52 bomber. With both capabilities achieved, the B-1 Lancer was able to replace the fighter jets and perform exceptionally well. The defense company, Boeing, was in charge of developing each prototype, with the first being B-1A. The prototypes of this aircraft were developed to fly at exceptional speed and at high altitudes, or slower and closer to the ground if the need be. But unfortunately, the program was stopped in 1977 because it cost a lot of money. However, the program was revived in 1981 because the bomber that was being produced to replace the B-1 was taking time. Changes were made to design, and these alterations made it a bit slower, but also led to the improvement of other aspects of the bomber, like the electronic system and the fuel capacity. This new version was named the B-1B, and it became operational in 1985. This bomber was initially designed to carry nuclear bombs, but in 1992, they equipped it with the ability to carry regular bombs. This bomber was so powerful that it was used in wars like Operation Desert Fox and in Kosovo. It has also been assisting the military in Afghanistan and Iraq. The B-1B bomber was developed as a result of the United States Air Force's need for a new bomber that had the carrying capacity of the B-52 and that could fly as fast enough to avoid getting caught by the enemies. In January 1982, the United States Air Force gave 2 contracts to Rockwell, totaling $2.2 billion, to make 100 new B-1 bombers. The can now carry more weight when taking off, going from 395,000 pounds to 477 pounds compared to the initially developed B-1A. This extra weight allowed the bomber to carry more fuel and weapons. Also, the developers made some parts of this formidable aircraft to be stronger than other parts, while other parts were made lighter, so the overall weight increase was not much. The electronic warfare system was also upgraded to enable it to handle new radars on enemy aircraft, like the MiG-31 with the Zaslon radar system. However, many people in Congress were not in support of these changes. Their bone of contention was that the B-1 still had several unsolved problems, and that it cost too much. Some even referred to the B-52 with similar electronics that could do just as well at avoiding enemy aircrafts. They thought the B-1 would become outdated soon after it was introduced. But some did not agree with them. They argued that the new bomber could carry lots of bombs and could take off from more places. And that aside, the production of the bomber also stood to create jobs in many districts, so it eventually had the support of the Congress. The first B-1B started its testing phase in March 19 and eventually had its first flight in October 1984. Now, let us dive into the structural details of this supersonic technological marvel. The B-1 has a unique shape with wings that can change position, 4 powerful engines, small fins, and a tail shaped like a cross. Focusing on the wings, this uniquely crafted wing can move from a little bit open to very wide open. When they are a little open, they are in the perfect position for taking off, landing, and flying high up. And when they are wide open, it is good for flying really fast, like an extreme speed. This bomber's wings and its strong engines are responsible for an efficient takeoff. They allow the bomber to perform short runways better than the older bombers. However, the developers noticed that the long body of the bomber used to shake a lot in the wind when it flew lower altitudes. To fix this, Rockwell decided to add small fins near the front that moved to keep the aircraft steady. They also made the bottom tail move to help keep it steady. One major difference between the previously developed B-1A and the B-1B is that the latter is unable to fly as fast as the former, which could go faster than Mach 2. However, it can go up to Mach 1.25 at high altitude, which is about 950 miles per hour. But it can go faster at low altitudes, up to Mach 0.92, which is about 700 miles per hour. After several questions regarding its reduced speed, it was disclosed that the reason it can't go faster is to avoid damaging its structure and air intakes. It makes use of these special air intake ducts and ramps to make it harder for enemies' radar to spot, but it comes at a cost. These structures slow the B-1B compared to the B-1A. However, the advantages outweighs the disadvantages because these ducts also have vanes that help to deflect radar signals away from the engine blades that reflect radar signals a lot and helps to keep it invisible. Now to the powerhouse of the aircraft, the engine. The B-1B's engine was a modified version of the one used in the B-1A. It was called the GE F101102, and it was improved in such a way that makes it more durable and efficient. Parts of this engine were later used in engines for other aircraft like the F-14 Tomcat and the formidable F-16 Fighting Falcon. It's also used in the engines for the B-2 Spirit and the U-2S. The same engine core is also used in a civil engine called the CFM56. The door on the front landing gear is where the ground crew can control the auxiliary power unit. This APU can be quickly started up during emergencies. The B-1's main computer is called the IBM AP101, which was also used in the Space Shuttle Orbiter and the B-52 bomber. It's programmed using the Jovial programming language. For offense, it has an advanced technology like the Northrop Grumman AN/APQ-164 radar. This radar is designed to scan and steer electronically without moving, and it has modes for different tasks like spotting moving targets on the ground. It also has navigation tools like radar and GPS to help it find its way. The bomber also has equipment to defend itself. It has radar warning and jamming gear called the Eaton AN/ALQ-168A, which has antennas in 3 places, at the front base of each wing and 1 at the back in the tail. There is also a missile warning system called the AN/ALQ-153 that is equipped in the tail. For protection against missiles, there are 8 flare dispensers on top behind the cockpit, linked to the aircraft's avionics management system. Each dispenser can hold up to 12 flares. These flares, known as MJU-23A/B, are some of the biggest infrared countermeasure flares to be ever developed. They weigh over 3.3 pounds. The way the bomber is designed helps it avoid detection by enemy radar. While it is not officially a stealth plane, its structure, the way its intakes are shaped, and the materials that were used in building it makes its radar cross-section very small. It is also built to be small, about 1/50th of the size of a similar B-52 bomber, which is like the radar signature of a small fighter jet. This is really important for some of the missions that it is used in. In addition to the uniqueness of this bomber, it has set 61 world records for things like speed, how much it can carry, how far it can go, and how quickly it can climb, all in different weight categories. In November 1993, 3 B-1Bs set a record for flying long distances without stopping to be refueled. This showed that they could reach far-off targets and come back without needing to refuel. This flight was so impressive that the National Aeronautic Association called it one of the top 10 most memorable flights of 1994. Also, this bomber can also use a towed decoy system called the AL-50 to distract incoming missiles. Despite its formidable capabilities, and after setting several world records, this bomber even gets better. Since its production, the B-1 has undergone several upgrades, starting with the Conventional Mission Upgrade Program. These upgrades introduced a new MIL STD-1760 Smart Weapons Interface for precision-guided conventional weapons, which were delivered through several stages. The first stage, the Block A, equipped the standard bomber with the ability to drop non-precision gravity bombs, further improving its capabilities. The Block B upgrade introduced an improved synthetic aperture radar and upgrades to the defensive countermeasure system, which was implemented in 1995. The Block C upgrade helped to enhance the capability of the bomber to deliver up to 30 cluster bomb units per mission with modifications to bomb racks. The Block D upgrade added a near-precision capability with improved weapons and targeting systems, along with advanced secure communications. The Block E upgraded avionics computers and included the Wind-Corrected Munitions Dispenser, or WCMD, AGM-154 Joint Standoff Weapon, and AGM-158 JASSM, or Joint Air-to-Surface Standoff Munition, which significantly enhanced the bomber's capabilities. These several stages of upgrade were completed in September 2006, while Block F was planned as a defensive systems upgrade program to improve electronic countermeasures and jamming, but was canceled in December 2002 due to cost overruns and delays. To make this bomber even more better than the previously developed, it underwent an upgrade in 1995. This upgrade, which is referred to as the B1B Block D, added a global positioning system receiver to improve the navigation system of the bomber. In 2007, the B-1 fleet got an upgrade with the Sniper XR targeting pod, fixed near the forward bomb bay. It was tested quickly and put into use by the summer of 2008. They're planning to use small-diameter bombs for precision strikes in the future. In 2012, the United States Air Force started the Integrated Battle Station upgrade, combining three separate improvements, which are fully integrated data link, vertical situational display unit, and central integrated test system. The fully integrated battle station allows electronic sharing of data, cutting out the need to input info manually. The vertical situational display unit swapped out the old and outdated flight instruments with color displays for easier threat detection and targeting, which also acts as a backup display too, while the central integrated test system brings in a new diagnostic system to monitor over 9,000 aircraft parameters. They also replaced the old gyroscopic navigation system with new ones and upgraded the radar to a scalable agile beam radar. All these upgrades were completed by 2020. The bomber also underwent one upgrade in August 2019. The Air Force updated it to carry more weapons both on the inside and outside. By adjusting the movable front wall, they made more space in the middle section, increasing it from 180 to 269 inches. Several changes were also made to the bomber, which enabled it to use the common strategic rotary launcher inside and started using 6 of the 8 external hardpoints that were previously unused to comply with the New START Treaty. This change increased the bomber's weapon capacity from 24 to 40. With these updates, it can carry heavier weapons weighing up to 5,000 pounds, including hypersonic missiles like the AGM-183 ARRW. In the future, it might also use the HOYOC, allowing it to carry a total of 31 hypersonic weapons, both inside and outside. The second B-1B, known as the Star of Abilene, was delivered to SAC in June 1985. It reached an initial operational capability on the 1st of October 1986 and was put on nuclear alert status. One interesting fact, the bomber was officially named Lancer on 15 March 1990, but it was commonly called the Bone. This nickname seems to come from a newspaper article where its name was spelled as B-1 without the hyphen. By 1992, some B-1s could drop the 500-pound Mach 82 bomb, mostly at low altitude, but engine problems further prevented them from being used in Operation Desert Storm during the Gulf War. During this time, these bombers were mainly kept for strategic nuclear missions as part of the airborne nuclear deterrent against the Soviet Union. The issue was traced back to problems in the first stage fan, so for the time being, the B-52 was more suitable for conventional warfare and was used by coalition forces instead. Originally designed mainly for nuclear warfare, the B-1 faced some delays in becoming an effective conventional bomber. With the Soviet Union's collapse, questions arose about its nuclear role. This led President George H.W. Bush to authorize a $3 billion upgrade for conventional missions. After SAC was deactivated and the Air Combat Command was established in 1992, the B-1 started focusing more on conventional weapons. The United States Air Force Weapons School B-1 Division was set up as part of this effort. In 1994, 2 additional B-1 bomb wings were formed in the Air National Guard, converting former fighter wings in the Kansas Air National Guard and the Georgia Air National Guard. By the mid-1990s, the B-1 could use various types of bombs, including general-purpose weapons and cluster bomb units. With the Block D upgrade by the end of the 1990s, the bomber could use a wide range of guided and unguided munitions. As a response to the increasing threat that this bomber posed, especially with the upgrades it underwent, the United States has to downgrade it. After the downgrade, the bomber could no longer carry nuclear weapons. Its nuclear capability was removed by 1995. This process of the downgrade included the taking out of nuclear arming and fusing hardware. Following the New START treaty with Russia, there were further changes that were made to comply with these treaty provisions. These changes included the alteration of the aircraft hardpoints to prevent the bomber from attaching nuclear weapon pylons, removing wiring bundles in the weapons bay for arming nuclear weapons, and also destroying the nuclear weapon pylons. The conversion process was finished in 2011, and some Russian officials were assigned to inspect the aircraft annually. This is to ensure total compliance. Nevertheless, the bomber was still very useful. The B-1 was first used in battle during Operation Desert Fox in December 1998, dropping unguided bombs. Since then, it has been deployed in various missions, including Operation Allied Force, Operation Enduring Freedom in Afghanistan, and the 2003 invasion of Iraq. With the lack of its nuclear capabilities, the bomber has been equipped with different types of conventional weapons, like the GBU-31J DOM, and these weapons played a significant role in operations. For instance, during the first 6 months of Operation Enduring Freedom, this bomber was deployed and 8 of them dropped nearly 40% of all bombs, including over 3,900 JDOMs. Despite facing engine issues, it was used in various operations like Operation Desert Storm and Operation Enduring Freedom, where its mission-capable rate increased to 79%. Out of the 100 B-1Bs that were initially built, only 92 were left by the year 2000, even after some were lost in accidents. The plans to retire 1/3 of the fleet were met with resistance because it was too good to be forgotten. However, some mothballed bombers were returned to service. The bomber has undergone several upgrades to maintain its effectiveness in conflicts, and it may continue to be in service until around 2038. Despite the fact that it incurs a very high cost per flight hour, it is still considered to be the most cost-effective bomber than the older ones like the B-52 and B-2. There are also plans to replace it with the B-21 Raider after 2025. However, for now, the B-1's capabilities are still very valued, especially in the Pacific region, as part of the United States' strategic focus on East Asia. Over the years, the B-1 has been involved in numerous important missions, including combat sorties in Afghanistan and Iraq. It has been used against groups like the Islamic State in Syria by dropping bombs and providing air support for ground forces. During their deployments, the bombers have flown for extensive hours and have been an important aircraft in various battles, such as the Battle of Kobani in Syria, where they dropped over 2,000 JDAMs, contributing to the defeat of ISIL fighters. It is intriguing that even after its downgrade, it remains the most valued bomber across several nations and even remains a formidable addition to the United States military arsenal. Just imagine the threat it would have posed to the US's rivals if it had retained its nuclear capabilities. Thanks for watching. While you are still here, click on the link on your screen to check out another of our videos. See you there.